Well, in the pharmaceutical industry, why green packaging initiatives are required, if you ask me? Green packaging is not just replacing all the current packagings by way of some kind of a biodegradable material or a sustainable or recyclable material or something like that. There are many initiatives. It's not just directly doing something on the packaging itself. Well, today we know, unlike other products, all the pharmaceutical products, by being highly efficacious, and then you need to have a shelf life throughout its gamut of supply chain until this patient uses. They're complex in nature. The drugs and molecules are complex in nature, and they need a different packaging material, multiple laminates using foils, PVC, and whole lot of other materials also. Nevertheless, efforts are on to make the material more recyclable. Elimination of the PVC by using polyethylene and PET. Some research is happening, and also I think some good progress has been made already, reducing the thickness of the film what we are using by eliminating PVC also. At the same time, reducing the overall material use also, and making more important is making the material more recyclable. Actually, that's more important. So other than that, you have several initiatives. And basically, you need to have, as per me, you need to have a packaging audit of all the products in the pharmaceutical industry currently what being used. Many times you might end up with some surprises. Definitely, I'm sure. If you take the case of the bottles also, sometimes you may be able to reduce the bottle size even by half. Don't get surprised. There are umpteen occasions. So you need to take a call, making the proper packaging audit, and also reducing the head space in the bottle by reducing the size. And also sometimes if the bottles are not mentioned for the direct patient use, maybe pharmacy use, so you don't need the complex big child distance closures. Instead, normal continuous thread closures also can be used. And as we're talking about HDPE bottles also, you can reduce weight. If you have a proper study, you can always reduce weight also. There are several other areas. Basically, it's not just working upon the material alone. For example, even in the secondary packaging, sometimes you can eliminate a lot of monocottons using double layer label with a lot of statutory information, etc. And also some medical guides and all which are unnecessarily being supplied. They may be avoided also. And finally, you need to really look once again how much volume you are actually using, especially when you are shipping your products by air. Imagine the more volume you are adding, more carbon footprint, and really affecting the environment on the negative side. So you need to focus. Adequate and optimum packaging is the key. Several initiatives are there, avoiding palletization, etc. Direct shipping is available even by boat or by air also. Several methods are there. I think all these are very important, and you can call it's not green packaging, but it's a sustainable way of doing things. It's more important. And a lot of times you can also eliminate the intermediate packaging also. And coming to the labels, use the number of millions or billions of labels. Nowadays, actually, e-labeling facility is also available. Not always. You need to go by the regulatory also. Wherever it is possible, you can avoid and make use of the smart packaging elements into your packaging also by eliminating the physical labels sometimes. Well, if you ask me, green packaging initiatives are multiple. So it's as I told, it's not simply replacing all the material by some kind of a biodegradable material, but it's the order of the day is more of a recyclability. And at the same time, throughout the value chain, if you are able to make your packaging recyclable, then I think we are you're almost there, at least achieving something on this green packaging initiative. Start of the day, people have realized also it's not that people are not talking about it before, but now it is more and more predominant. People are really answerable to their deeds, and it's not just for answerability to the environment, answerability to the society, or answerability to your organization. Basically, if you follow certain steps, you're actually adding to the bottom line. So every pharmaceutical CEO also must recognize this need. And as I often keep telling, you need to have your packaging audit once in 6 months, if not once in a year. Uh, all the products, what are all the current packagings undergoing, and you need to have a third eye view. It should not be done with the same guys who design your packaging. Somebody who is from outside, I'm not saying a consultant or somebody, but within your organization, maybe some kind of a cross-functional overview also might help. I think these things will definitely help the green initiatives, definitely. And well, you're asking what are the challenges in the pharmaceutical packaging. Yeah, pharmaceutical packaging basically of multifolded nature. Definitely, right from the formulation level, nowadays a lot of drugs are complex in nature. As I was telling, they are highly sensitive to moisture or oxygen, or sometimes both also. So they in turn largely impact the physical and chemical stability also. This is what I was telling also. These are the major challenges. Not so easy, like, and at the same time you have to strike a balance. Regulatory challenges are huge. Development, whether it is a developed market or even in emerging market also, the safety of the patient is utmost importance, and it's very critical to maintain data on packaging materials, MSDS, identification, pack development reports, stability, compatibility studies, of course, the DMF and ADMF access documentation. Wherever it is required, the food grade certificates, heavy metal content documentation, so on and so on. So the life is not so easy for pharmaceutical packaging. The challenges are multiple. So in addition to the designing of the material, both in terms of keeping you the product requirement by way of its safeguarding its efficacy, and at the same time regulatory challenges, you also have a lot of challenges in the manufacturing and operation also. For example, in the processes itself, you need to take care of the leakage, also migration, and sometimes if they are printed, ink lifting happens, delamination, if they have multi-layered packaging, delamination happens, and foils many a times actually the pinhole formation, and which ultimately gives a lesser protection. And wherever it is there, the nitrogen flushing, the pouches, there might be improper. And then these are all very critical. In addition to all these regular operational challenges, there are multiple challenges with respect to IPR, intellectual property protection. Of course, counterfeiting. Counterfeiting is a big challenge nowadays. So basically, while designing the packaging pharmaceutical product, all these above points must be really considered. And when you talk about the future trends, what can I say? Now the whole trend, the worldwide is shifting. It's no longer a specific drug for a specific disease or something like that. the world of healthcare is moving towards more of a personalized healthcare, knowing the person's illness in specific, and then giving a specific healthcare for that particular person or group of persons or whatsoever. I think it's all the more important. The pharma packaging trends in the future will be totally derived by the, whether you call user centricity or patient centricity. Patient centricity is the fulcrum of everything. So every packaging development revolves around the patient needs, because it's ultimately the influencing factor also to shape the market. Well, look at it under current pandemic condition. Also, consumer behavior also is completely changed. If you agree with me, and how many times we are visiting a physician before pandemic and post pandemic? Very often, actually, we used to go for small things, and now the physical interactions between the patients and doctors also are declining also. And of course, but with the advanced digital communication easily available for every corner, the consultations are happening remotely. That's a big advantage for us. Imagine a couple of years ago on Express Pharma platform, I gave a statement, packaging will be your second physician. Today, packaging is your second physician. It's very apt under the current circumstances. Just imagine, it's very evident from the fact that ease of administration, dose monitoring, dosage accuracy, and minimizing or almost zeroing any medication errors in the dosage, etc. These are all the key factors. Apart from basically the safeguarding of the product itself for its efficacy, keeping up its efficacy, providing product information, etc. Of course, while following the regulatory framework. So the pharmaceutical packaging forms a real tool. I don't say it replaces the physician or replaces a medical worker or a pharmacist, but imagine the pharmaceutical packaging is doing that kind of a job by giving all these parameters which I just stated. And don't forget, the final contact between the drug and the patient, that's you, it's nothing but packaging, because the physician is not at your home, the pharmacist is not at your home. What you're seeing is what you're accessing the drug is through by way of a packaging. And imagine another interesting development in the recent past, when you're asking about the future trends, the integration of the augmented reality. So with that advanced tools of AR integrated into the packaging, the moment you scan a QR code on your packaging, of course, currently the lot of tools are available by just simply scanning. You will get to know the history of the product and where it is manufactured, what the product details, etc. It is one step advanced. So once you scan this, a digital three-dimensional 3D hologram, the person, you feel like a person standing on your back. So the digital assistant, he or she whatsoever, you can consider he or she is the physician or your medical help or whatsoever. And he not only tells gives the complete product information, the dose regimen and how you take it, etc. And don't get surprised, the latest the research, if you go by the trends, in the future it will be reality, and you will be able to interact in real time. That means, once you're able to talk to the person physically, I mean digitally, a digital assistant is appearing before you, and you will be talking to that, and you will be asking the questions and then getting the answers also. Look at it, how advanced the technology is improving actually. And yeah, sooner or later, these are all will become a reality also. So nevertheless, the challenges are many. The future trends are, as I was telling you, more towards the patient centricity. I think end of the day, I always believe any innovation, however great it might be, it has to help the mankind at large in the long term. So if it is not helping, these innovations will end up in archives or university libraries, or which are of no use. So ultimately, these innovations, all the research scientists keep the customer, that's you, in focus, and things are happening in a right direction. We need to wait and see. It's not the same 20 years ago how it was and today. So the future also is bright, and we're all optimistic how things will shape up in the future. Thank you.